The air is thick with tension. Jamie stands in the dimly lit room, his eyes searching, his jaw tight. He can sense something is off, something Claire hasn't told him. Every secret, every hidden truth from her past has finally caught up to them. The camera lingers on the flickering candlelight, shadows dancing across the walls, mirroring the storm brewing in Jamie's heart. The audience feels it. A revelation is coming, one that will shake the foundation of everything they built together. The truth Jamie never expected will change everything. Jamie's boots echo softly against the stone floor, each step heavier than the last. Outside, the wind whips against the castle walls, carrying a chill that mirrors the unease in his chest. Claire stands at the window, looking out over the rolling hills of Scotland, her fingers absent-mindedly tracing the cold glass. There's a quiet tension in the room that neither of them can ignore. For years, Jamie has trusted Claire with his life, shared his fears and hopes, yet now a shadow of doubt creeps into his mind. Something is different. Something hidden. The camera shifts to a flickering candle on the table, the light catching Jamie's face in soft glows and harsh shadows. His eyes are fixed, unblinking, on Claire, searching for answers. Voiceover. Jamie's world has always been built on trust, but some truths are heavier than stone. Some secrets can change everything, and the moment of reckoning has come. Behind him, the wind rattles the old windows, the sound echoing through the empty halls like a distant warning. Every creak of the floorboards, every sigh of the house, adds to the growing tension. The audience can almost feel Jamie's heartbeat steady, then quick. As he braces himself for what he's about to hear, Claire turns slowly. Her gaze meeting Jamie's, there's a softness in her eyes, but also a vulnerability, a hesitance that speaks louder than words. The camera focuses on small, faceless details, the way her hand hovers over the back of a chair, the faint tremble in her fingers. These silent gestures tell a story Jamie isn't ready for, yet he knows he must listen. Voiceover. Some truths are waiting to be spoken. Some confessions demand to be heard. And Jamie is about to hear what he never expected. Outside the window, the Scottish countryside stretches endlessly, mist rolling over hills like whispered secrets. Inside, the room is still, almost unbearably quiet. Jamie takes a measured breath, steadying himself. The past, long hidden, presses against the present, demanding attention. The candlelight dances across the stone walls, throwing shadows that twist and turn like the memories Jamie is about to confront. He moves closer, hesitant yet determined, each step carrying the weight of the unknown. The camera follows him, close behind, letting the audience feel every heartbeat, every ounce of anticipation. Jamie finally stops a few feet from Claire. His eyes search hers, searching for the truth she's been holding back. The audience knows what he doesn't yet, the past Claire has kept secret, the moments she has never shared. Voiceover. Every love story has its trials. Every bond faces a test. But when the truth comes knocking, there's no turning back. For Jamie, this is more than a revelation, it's a turning point, a moment that could change everything he thought he knew about Claire and their future together. The room feels smaller now, the air heavier, as if the walls themselves are holding their breath. Jamie steps closer to Claire, his eyes narrowing slightly, not in anger, but in a desperate search for understanding. The past has a way of creeping in when least expected, and tonight, it comes not in whispers, but in the quiet strength of Claire's gaze. She doesn't speak immediately. She lets the silence stretch, letting Jamie feel the weight of what is to come. Outside, the wind howls through the towers, rattling the glass in a rhythm almost like a heartbeat, reminding him that life carries on. Whether secrets remain hidden or not, flashbacks flicker across the screen quick, faceless, almost dreamlike. Hands trembling over old letters, the fleeting silhouette of a young Claire running through corridors of another time, shadows of choices that led her here. Each image is fleeting, never fully revealed, yet heavy with meaning. Voiceover. Every choice, every hidden moment has led to this confrontation. What Jamie sees now is not just a story of the past. It's the story of Claire, unshielded, unbroken. And human, the audience feels the weight of decades in seconds, understanding that the woman in front of him carries battles and sacrifices he has only glimpsed. Jamie's expression tightens, his jaw working as if chewing over every emotion at once. He recalls moments of unexplained absences, cryptic letters, quiet confessions in the dead of night. Each memory now has a new light, casting shadows over what he once thought was certainty. Claire's hands rest on the table, pale in the candlelight, fingers intertwined like she's holding onto herself. Voiceover. The past is a collection of choices, some made out of love, some out of necessity. And sometimes, the truth is heavier than any sword Jamie has ever carried. The camera focuses on subtle faceless details, a hand brushing hair from a neck, the tilt of a head, the slow exhale of someone preparing to reveal the unspoken, a single tense moment. Claire's lips move, almost imperceptibly, and the audience leans in. The faceless angle captures Jamie's hand hovering midair, as if he doesn't know whether to reach or retreat. The truth emerges slowly, like mist over the highlands, soft but undeniable. Voiceover. Some secrets are not meant to harm, but to protect. Some truths, however, cannot stay hidden forever. And when they surface, hearts must adjust to a new reality. Shadows shift across the walls, echoing the uncertainty of the future, as Jamie absorbs the story of love, loss, and resilience that Claire has carried silently. Every detail matters, every glance, every subtle gesture, every pause between words. The audience doesn't need to see the full past. They feel it through the weight, the hesitation, the quiet bravery of Claire, and the quiet storm of Jamie's reaction. The past is no longer hidden, it is alive in the room, pressing against the present. Jamie's eyes glisten with a mix of disbelief, sorrow, and the beginning of understanding. Voiceover. Truths once buried have a way of reshaping the heart. And Jamie, for all his strength, feels the pull of a past he never knew. Yet it will define the love they still hold, fragile and fierce. Asterisk. The room feels smaller now, almost suffocating, though it hasn't changed a thing. Candlelight flickers across the stone walls, casting elongated shadows that twist like the emotions in Jamie's chest. He stands only a few feet from Claire, yet it feels like a chasm has opened between them. There's a pause, a heartbeat suspended in time where the air itself seems to hold its breath. Jamie's hands, rough from years of labor and battle, clench at his sides. His eyes are fixed on Claire, searching, pleading silently for the truth he already senses, but isn't fully ready to hear. Claire doesn't flinch. Instead, she steps slightly forward, the movement almost imperceptible, a silent offering of herself. Her hands rest on the edge of a table, knuckles whitening against the cold wood. Voiceover. Some truths cannot be spoken lightly. Some confessions demand courage beyond what words can carry. And in this moment, Claire carries hers, not for herself, but for the man who has always been her anchor. The camera captures faceless angles, a hand brushing against the table, a subtle tilt of the head, the way shadows cling to the folds of her sleeve. Every gesture tells the story Jamie's eyes have longed to see. Jamie swallows hard, the sound almost deafening in the stillness. Memories crash through his mind, the laughter they shared, the battles they survived, the quiet nights when he thought he understood everything about her. And now, the weight of the unknown presses down. Voiceover. Trust is not given lightly. And when it is tested, every heart trembles. He moves closer, slow, careful, as if approaching a fragile flame that could either illuminate the darkness or be snuffed out by the slightest misstep. Their faces are never fully shown, but the intensity is clear through posture, through hesitation, through the unspoken dialogue of a lifetime shared. Claire finally speaks, her voice low, steady, carrying the years of silence between them. Each word is deliberate, measured, yet drenched in emotion. Jamie's fingers twitch, hovering near hers as if he wants to reach out but fears breaking the fragile balance of truth now laid bare. Voiceover. Some moments demand more than understanding, they demand presence, patience, and the willingness to bear the weight of another's soul. The camera lingers on hands intertwined briefly, then pulling apart, symbolizing both connection and the tension of revelation. The room seems to pulse with emotion, the candle flames reflecting the fragility of the moment. Jamie's chest rises and falls rapidly, every breath a battle between anger, sorrow, and an unwavering love. Voiceover. When love is tested by the past, it is not broken, it is reshaped. Jamie feels it now, the quiet ache of understanding, the tremor of forgiveness, the stirrings of hope. The audience sees the clash of vulnerability and strength, of fear and courage, all without a single full face revealed. Shadows stretch, shift, and finally settle, leaving the impression that while the confrontation is ending, the consequences of this truth will echo far into the future. The room is quieter now, but the weight of the past still lingers, pressing against Jamie and Claire like the mist rolling over the Scottish hills outside. Jamie's eyes trace Claire's silhouette, soft in the candlelight yet unyielding in its quiet strength. Every gesture she makes, every subtle shift of her shoulders, speaks of battles fought, sacrifices made, and a life lived in shadow and light. Voiceover. The past may be revealed, but the future? The future is still unwritten. Every choice they make now will ripple through time, shaping the life they share and the love that binds them. Outside the window, the fog clings to the landscape, drifting slowly over stone walls and narrow paths. It mirrors the uncertainty of what lies ahead, a world that is both familiar and unknown. The camera lingers on small, symbolic details. A weathered ladder resting on the table, the gentle sway of a hanging lantern, the flicker of flame reflecting in a glass of water. Each object tells a story of possibility, of decisions yet to be made, and of paths that could either unite or divide them. Jamie's hand hovers near the letter but does not touch it, a subtle hesitation that mirrors the choices awaiting them. Claire steps closer, her hands brushing against the table as if grounding herself in the moment. There's a quiet tension in her posture, a delicate balance between hope and fear. Voiceover. The future does not ask permission. It waits quietly for those brave enough to step into it. And Jamie must decide if the strength of his love can carry them both through the storms that lie ahead. Faceless visuals capture the intensity of the moment. A hand resting over another, a slight nod, a shadow stretching across the stone floor like a path leading into the unknown. The audience feels the suspense, sensing that every small gesture holds the weight of what's to come. Jamie finally turns toward the window, gazing out at the endless horizon, his profile half hidden in shadow. Voiceover. Every ending is also a beginning. Every revelation, a chance to rebuild. The choices they make tonight, in this quiet room, will shape not just their tomorrow, but the legacy of a love tested by time itself. The camera captures the interplay of light and darkness, the gentle flicker of candle flames, and the mist creeping over the hills, symbolic of a future both mysterious and full of potential. Claire joins him, her hand barely touching his, and for a brief moment, their silhouettes merge to people standing together on the edge of what is known, peering into the vast unknown. The scene fades slowly, leaving only shadows and the faint glow of candlelight. Voiceover. The past has been spoken. The present has been felt, and the future waits, patient, silent, yet brimming with promise. Jamie and Claire have survived storms before, but the journey ahead will demand more than courage. It will demand trust, sacrifice, and the kind of love that endures beyond time itself. The screen lingers on their faceless silhouettes, framed against the misty highlands, as this story leaves the audience with a lingering sense of wonder, suspense, and a quiet certainty that their love story is far from over. Asterisk. The candlelight flickers one last time, casting long, twisting shadows across the stone walls. Jamie and Claire stand silently, the air between them thick with unspoken words and the weight of what has just been revealed. Every muscle in Jamie's body tenses, as if bracing for a storm he can't see but can already feel. He glances at Claire, her silhouette framed by the window, the misty highlands stretching endlessly behind her. Voiceover. Some truths change everything. Some moments decide what kind of love will survive the night, the silence, and the storms ahead. And tonight, Their story teeters on the edge. Jamie's hand hovers midair, trembling slightly not from weakness, but from the gravity of the emotions coursing through him. Claire's fingers rest lightly on the table, poised between retreat and reaching out. Faceless visuals capture every subtle gesture, a fingertip brushing a ring, a hand trembling over a letter, the faint quiver of a shoulder. Voiceover. Love has survived battles, time, and separation. But some revelations, some truths, can only be faced together or not at all. The room is quiet except for the distant sound of wind against stone. Like the world itself is holding its breath. Jamie finally takes a step toward Claire, but stops short. He can see everything in her posture, in the faint tilt of her head, in the subtle shift of her weight. He wants to speak, to offer reassurance, yet the words feel fragile, inadequate against the enormity of the past he has just uncovered. Voiceover. Sometimes the hardest step is the one you don't take. Sometimes the heart must wait for courage to catch up with love. The camera pans across the room in a slow, deliberate sweep, capturing shadows, the flicker of flames, and the mist swirling outside a visual metaphor for the uncertainty of their future. Claire turns slightly, just enough that Jamie can sense her fear, her hope, her love. The audience feels the tension in the space between them, palpable and almost suffocating. Voiceover. The future is not written in stone. It waits. For the brave, the steadfast, and the hearts willing to endure. Jamie and Claire have faced everything before. But tonight, the question remains, can love survive the truth? The camera lingers on their faceless silhouettes, barely touching, yet full of connection and longing. The screen fades slowly too. Black, leaving the echo of a question that hangs in the air, unspoken but impossible to ignore. Text overlay appears on screen. What will Jamie do? Will love survive the truth? Watch the next chapter to find out. The music crescendos and then softens, leaving a lingering emotional resonance. The audience is left on the edge of anticipation. Hearts racing, minds spinning, compelled to return for answers, desperate to see what the future holds for the two lovers caught between past secrets and the promise of tomorrow. Asterisk. The room is quiet now. The storm of revelation passed, but its echoes still vibrating in the space between Jamie and Claire. Candle flames sway gently, their light softening the edges of the shadows, revealing glimpses of a world both fragile and enduring. Jamie stands slightly apart, but not fully distant, his posture softened by understanding yet still weighed by the truth he has just absorbed. Voiceover. The past has been spoken, the present felt, and yet the future remains a question mark, hovering just out of reach. Claire turns, her movement slow, deliberate, almost ritualistic in its grace. Faceless visuals focus on small, symbolic gestures, a hand brushing a strand of hair from her neck, fingers tracing the edge of a windowsill, the subtle rise and fall of her shoulders as she exhales. Each gesture tells the story of acceptance, courage, and quiet resilience. Jamie's eyes follow her movements, absorbing the reality that love is not a simple path, it is a road carved from trust, vulnerability, and shared scars. Voiceover. Some truths leave cracks in the heart, but love, true love, finds a way to bridge even the deepest chasms. Outside, the highland mist begins to lift, revealing stretches of rolling hills bathed in pale dawn light. The visual contrast mirrors the emotional shift inside the room, darkness softened by the first hints of hope. Jamie steps forward, his hand brushing against Claire's. Not a full touch, not yet, but enough to convey connection, reassurance, and the tentative promise of what might come. The camera captures this faceless intimacy, the brush of hands, the tilt of heads, the closeness without the need for a direct gaze. Voiceover. Moments like these do not erase the past. They do not promise perfection, but they whisper of possibilities. A future shaped by courage, patience, and unwavering devotion. A soft, reflective score underscores the moment, filling the silence with a sense of both closure and anticipation. Jamie and Claire remain close, yet apart, silhouettes framed by the window as the mist retreats further, revealing the landscape ahead. Voiceover, love endures, even in uncertainty. Hearts can mend even after the heaviest truths, and though the road ahead is uncharted, one thing remains certain: together, they will face whatever comes next. The room holds its quiet magic, every flickering shadow a reminder that while this chapter may be ending, their story continues complex, fragile, and endlessly compelling. The scene fades slowly, leaving only candlelight and misty silhouettes. Text overlay appears. Some truths test love, but some truths reveal it. What happens next will define everything. The audience is left with lingering tension, emotional resonance, and a deep curiosity about the choices Jamie and Claire will make as they step forward into the unknown together. The room is bathed in the soft glow of dawn, the mist outside slowly lifting, revealing the rolling Scottish Highlands in pale, ethereal light. Jamie and Claire stand apart yet tethered by the invisible threads of shared history, love, and hard-won trust. Their faces remain mostly in shadow, faceless to the audience, but their body language speaks volumes. Jamie's hands are relaxed now, though still cautious, as if learning to trust the space between them once more. Claire's posture softens, shoulders lowering, her fingers tracing faint patterns on the table, gestures that speak of reflection, resilience, and the unspoken understanding that some truths, though heavy, can be carried together. The past has left its mark, but love endures. Every secret, every revelation has tested them. And tonight, they stand at a threshold where trust is fragile, hope is tender, and the future remains unwritten. The camera lingers on symbolic details, the candle flickering low, a letter half open on the table, mist curling around window frames. Each detail reflects both the fragility and strength of what Jamie and Claire share, a love forged in storms yet tempered by time. Faceless visuals capture their connection in subtle touches, a hand hovering above another, fingers brushing briefly the tilt of a head. The quiet exhale shared across the space between them. Jamie finally steps closer. Slow, deliberate, careful not to break the delicate balance. The audience senses the tension in the moment, the years of secrets, battles, and unspoken fears weighing on him, but also the unwavering strength of his devotion. Voiceover. Love is not simple. It is never clean or easy. It is tested by shadows and time, by silence and truth. And when hearts endure the heaviest truths, they are reshaped stronger, more aware, more committed. Claire shifts slightly, acknowledging him with a small, nearly imperceptible movement that carries mountains of emotion, forgiveness, acceptance, and the quiet promise of resilience. Outside, the mist finally parts, revealing a distant path leading into the Highlands. It is symbolic, a road stretching forward into uncertainty, possibilities, and challenges yet to come. Voiceover. The road ahead is uncharted. Choices must be made. Battles will come, and yet, love, when true, finds a way to guide even the most uncertain hearts. The camera captures the faceless silhouettes of Jamie and Claire framed against this vast, misty horizon, their hands nearly touching, their shadows merging, hinting that while the journey is far from over, they are stepping into it together. The final shot fades slowly, leaving only lingering silhouettes and the faint glow of the morning light. Text overlay appears. Some truths test love, but love endures. What comes next will define everything. Voiceover concludes. The past has been faced, the present endured, and the future waits. Patient, mysterious, and full of promise. Jamie and Claire's story is far from over. And for those who love them, the next chapter cannot come soon enough. The music swells and softens, leaving the audience with both closure and lingering suspense, a perfect ending for a faceless, cinematic video that teases the continuing story.